Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to Iraq. I've been gone for a little while, but let's talk about what's going on. I do pay attention to the articles, and yes, there is talk about the rate change all over again, but I'm starting to read a lot of language that says New World Order all over it. There seems to be a movement by Kurdistan to help force Baghdad into this New World Order movement. As a matter of fact, it seems like the Al-Qadimi's administration was eagerly ready to participate in this one world government. I'm talking about the Great Reset. I'm going to show you some language and articles that we should be concerned about. If you're talking about you are invested into this country and this country is falling in line with all the other countries, this is not going to be a good thing. They all believe in this kumbaya world is what they're trying to tell us. That's going to exist, but that's not what they're saying in their speeches. We'll get into that here in just a moment. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. If you don't have gold and silver by now, you could be setting yourself up for some serious trouble. You definitely want something outside of the system. Gold and silver is that item. So it's more than just a monetary value. We're talking about your freedom. So when you go buy gold and silver, go check out our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. So what is going on? We still have not got a president. Not one, but now two candidates have been denied. If I remember correctly, in 2019, when the prime minister is being voted, after three candidates, the sitting president, which would be Saleh, has a right to go ahead and dissolve parliament. And they just do the elections all over again. So who does that benefit? Who would benefit from a new election? Well, it wouldn't be the coordination framework. They lost a lot of seats. It might have been that the coordination framework, the seats that they did get, they might have got them based on some frivolous activity, if you get my drift. So they're not going to be for a new election. You would think they would, considering they are swearing up and down that they're the ones that lost the seat due to a rigged election, but then they're fighting tooth and nail to keep Parliament from being dissolved. So here we go into another meeting, a new session, a third one in which they're going to try to get a president elected for Iraq. The Constitution says this is supposed to be done right away, within 30 days of the election. Obviously, we're 5 months into this, and there is no president. We thought all this time Iraq is on track to get their butts out of hock, to get things rocking and rolling, to reestablish themselves amongst the international community, but then they have all these little tiny things that are really interfering with this movement. Remember, the Chapter 7 in the United Nations, we find out, weren't the ones that were keeping Iraq punished for 30 years. It was this corrupt government. They couldn't get their crap together, and because of their actions, it kept them from being removed out of Chapter 7 all this time. Here we go. The elections were in October. We're now at the end of March, and there's still no president. There's no government, and there's a lot of internal bickering going on. Iran is sticking their nose into this. They have sent over delegations. They said that they can fix this problem, and they have sent over their own, let me repeat this, their own instructions on how Iraq is going to settle this dispute. Who the hell is Iran over there telling Iraq what to do? But they feel that emboldened to do so. Basically, they have been already threatening Halabasi, Talabani, and Sadr. We know this. And when I say threaten, I don't mean like sticking their finger out there and scolding them or giving them a slap like Will Smith did Chris Rock. I'm talking about their lives. So one of the things that became a problem is with Kurdistan, who seem more than eager to jump into this New World Order movement, is the courts took away their rights to the oil that they have on their land, saying that it belongs to Iraq all this time and not you guys specifically. That issue is still going back and forth, with Baghdad saying that they're going to go ahead and appoint a special committee to look into this, whatever that means. Here's your first hint about this New World Order movement. Regional government Kurdistan is about to enter the global energy map. If you're not paying attention, Those that are part of the World Economic Forum are now gobbling up all the resources. Yes, the companies, the countries that control most our resources, they are grabbing up and now starting to control, either through threats, bribes, corruption, whatever you want to call it. They are gobbling up assets everywhere. BlackRock is a perfect example of that. So you can see here, Kurdistan, they're eager to get in on this action. So the Kurdistan regional government spokesperson said on Tuesday the region is about to enter the global energy map in light of changes taking place in the region and the world at large. You heard Biden say we are now in the new world order. Those words are not by accident. They're used on purpose. These people that are in control are not going to relinquish it. They have no plans to whatsoever, and they'll do whatever it takes to stay in control. More viruses, less food. That's why they're saying they keep blaming Putin for this food shortage. They keep blaming everybody else but the truth. And the truth is, look, they bought farmlands. They killed the crops. They pay farmers not to take their animals to market. We've seen farmers come out and admit this. They're paying way above market price for property. Remember, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. If they can't buy it from you because they know money talks, and most people are willing to sell out anything for the money. If they can't do it that way, they'll tax the hell right out of you so that you can't afford it, and then they just take the property from you. Either way, they're going to get what they want. And as soon as they get the central bank digital currency in there and they control your money, they can force the masses to join them in forcing you to do what they want. This isn't hyperbolic. This isn't me using scare tactics. Now everybody is talking about this. And now you got countries, politicians lining up, and they're in a hurry. Why is that? Because this whole event seems to be slipping through their hands. How convenient, Russia invading Ukraine. So you can see, like I said already, Kurdistan's eager to join the world movement. Why don't they just call it what it is? It's a new world order. Biden's already came out and said it. The rest of them could just say it. Enter the global energy map. That's controlled by the World Economic Forum. These billionaires. They are setting this up. See, the Kurdistan region possesses good underground energy such as oil and gas. But these wealth does not belong to this generation only, but rather it belongs to the future generations. Now they're getting people to rely on more in government. Over here in the United States, what are they doing? Offering you gas vouchers. You see, they jack up the price of the gas and then try to offer you vouchers. First of all, where's that money coming from? Taxpayers. If they really, really wanted to help you, they're saying, oh, we're so sorry because of this war with Russia. Now the inflation is up because of Putin. Food shortages because of Putin. Energy costs are going up because of Putin. How convenient how all that comes out, considering these things were already issued prior to Putin. But now they want to offer you gas vouchers so that you rely more on the government. See how they do that? They're just going to keep giving you universal basic income, gas vouchers, food vouchers. They're just going to keep saying, oh, we're going to provide for you. Well, if they really wanted to provide for you, tell them to do away with half the regulations that they slapped on these energy fields. Tell them to open up those pipelines that they purposely closed. We moved from being the world's #1 exporter of energy to the #1 importer of energy. You know what I mean? Do things that make sense, common sense, not things that are contrary to what you're trying to pitch to us, which is just bullcrap. Okay? Then he went on to say, adding the regional government worked on diversifying sources of income, and this will contribute to providing job opportunities for young people. He stressed that the region is witnessing an economic and political crisis, which has reflected its impact on the performance of regional government's work in achieving its goals. I'll just give you a quick glance into what's coming our way. When I keep warning you about this World Economic Forum and the Great Reset, it's for a reason. It interferes in everything around the world. If you have not heard of this guy, Awaken with JP, I recommend you go check him out. I will leave a link to his YouTube video, but I want you to hear part of one of his videos. This man right here, this guy getting ready to talk, is Klaus Schwab's right-hand man. Klaus Schwab is the founder of the World Economic Forum. He's the one that's pushing us into the Great Reset. I want you to hear what their goals are for the rest of us. They tell you. They don't even hide it anymore. So let's hear this.
Data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it.
Elites hacking organisms and re-engineering life itself? Well, he's not talking about doing that to people, is he?
Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people.
Yeah, hack people, control you like a computer. They already have the technology. It's here. Anyways, the reason why I bring that up is because now I'm paying attention to the wording of different governments to see who is falling in line. Kurdistan seems to be falling in line. When they start using words like enter the global energy map, this is just one little thing. It sounds small, but you'll see as we go along. So normally that would be good because, you're trying to do what you can to get back on the international scene. Iraq it is I'm talking about. But when you start seeing the words that they're using, that's when you should be concerned. So here we go. We got Wednesday coming up tomorrow. It's the last dinner between the framework and the current. They're going to try one last time to convince Sadr to form the government that they want and use the people that they want, which is the corrupt people. They're all part of this great reset. I want to believe that Sadr is fighting this, and this is why he's having a hard time. He wants a government of the people by the people. He is supposed to be a holy man, and I want to believe that he's doing everything he can to resist this movement into the Great Reset. But people's lives, I'm talking about politicians and world leaders, their lives are being threatened. So here's something that I thought was interesting. It said the Finance Committee decides to host 6 ministers and the governor of the central bank against the backdrop of the food security law. Here we go. We got worldwide food shortages plus super high inflation, which means they're forcing the people to do what? Rely more and more on help from the government. You really don't want this. I cannot stress this enough. I know there are people out there going, Pimpy, man, I'm struggling. I don't have a choice. We need to find a way to come together and help one another. Because once they get what they want and they start controlling our monies, we're really in Schitt's Creek, so to speak. Excuse the cursing. So we know that Governor Newsom is offering a gas voucher here in California. A gas voucher. There's other politicians pushing for gas vouchers. Okay, that doesn't help our situation. It doesn't help at all. I know it seems like it's helping, but it doesn't. They actually have the know-how and the ability to release the energy that we have and lower its prices. But no, they don't. That's why when Biden first went in, he signed them executive orders. And what did that do? It stopped fracking. It stopped the oil lines. It stopped the oil pipelines. It's interfering with coal. All these things could be helping us right now, but they just go, no, we don't want to help you do that because it interferes with our climate agenda. They have no intentions on helping people. They just want to keep making you more and more reliant on the government, and that's exactly what they're doing. You could see it even in these ones here. So they want to get together and find out, what do you mean if we start handing out these vouchers, the central bank will go bankrupt? They want to know why that is. So they're going to have a meeting with the ministries and the central bank to find out what they could do, help deal with the support of the food security and development through access funds to achieve food security. Simple. Stop allowing these corporations to buy up your farmland and then stop growing things on there. This is what's really going on right now, and it's everywhere. So when I was going through these articles and I could see the wording, it's just depressing. So here's an article on the exchange rate. Yes, there's still talk about it. Anyway, it says the former director of the Office of Financial Supervision on Monday, the truth of the news that talks about the bankruptcy of the central bank if the exchange rate of the dollar change. So I guess the rumor is if they change the exchange rate, that's somehow going to bankrupt the central bank. Oil prices are higher than they've ever been. There's a surplus of money coming into Iraq. Their foreign reserve buildups are so high, and they're saying that a slight change to the exchange rate would somehow bankrupt the country. That's interesting. Said the bankruptcy of the Iraq Central Bank is inaccurate. That's what I thought. Due to the presence of 3 international economic reserves for it, noting that the hard currency of the dollar and the gold reserves, which global prices are good, and the purchase of U.S. Treasury bonds, which are of great value, high value and interest, and therefore bankruptcy is highly unlikely. Didn't say not going to happen, didn't say impossible. It just says highly unlikely. Again, pay attention to the wording. Manipulating the exchange rate of the dollar leads to an increase in imports and the exit of currency outside the country, knowing that the dollar reserves of the central bank rose after changing the exchange rate of the dollar. So they're saying there's no threat of a bankruptcy, but at the same time, you could tell they have no interest in changing the exchange rate at the moment. Okay? Now, again, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. They're just saying, hey, we're not going to go bankrupt, but changing the exchange rate could affect the banks and the economy. You can see already uprisings. That's what you don't want. Protesters stormed the headquarters of the Kurdistan Democratic Party in Baghdad and set it on fire. We don't want this type of disruption over there. So the Kurdistan Democratic Party is working with the Sadr team, and this is most likely why their headquarters was stormed. I told you these people are being threatened. My guess is that they are refusing to go along with whatever this agenda is. And this is what I was talking about, Iran sticking their nose in where it doesn't belong. The framework meets in conjunction with an unannounced meeting with members of the Sadrs and an Iranian initiative. Said Coordination Framework Force has held a meeting, that was on Sunday, to discuss political files in conjunction with an unannounced meeting with members of the Sadrs bloc. In addition to the attempts of Iran figures to put forward an initiative to contain the Shiite disputes. Why is Iran over there dealing with Iraq business? Because they don't want to let control of Iraq go. I told you their goal is to turn Iraq into an Islamic state. That's exactly what they want to do. So figures from over in Iran came over here to talk with the framework and the Sadrs movement before this election of the new president. This is what Sadr's talking about. There's some evil people that have a real hard grip on Iraq. They refuse to let it go, and he's having to deal with them. But you can see Sadr's put up a fight. It says Sadr rejects the attempts of the coordination framework to form the largest bloc through a Shiite alliance and leads attempts to form the government through an alliance announced under the name Save the Nation with Kurdistan Democratic Party and the Alliance of Sovereignty. So Iran is over there sticking their nose in there, trying to do what they can to keep control, considering their political party has lost a lot of seats and representatives. And right here you can see Al-Fatah, we do not want parliament to be dissolved, and this is our position on Sadr's candidacy. Said the Al-Fatah alliance, along with al-Masawi, confirmed the unwillingness of the coordination framework to dissolve parliament. Masawi said in an interview the political components, despite the negotiations, have not reached a solution to the current crisis, but the field is open until Wednesday to negotiate with all parties. We hope to reach a solution by Wednesday. They need to. Remember, I think it's 3 attempts and then they dissolve parliament. At least what I can remember from when Al-Qademi was put into office, the stuff we had to go through then. So the third session's coming up. I have not seen a new name yet. I know the other two, Reber and the other gentleman, were turned down. Now, I don't know how finalized that is, but we're going to find out. This is good news. A raise in Iraq's oil exports to America in a week. So the number of barrels of oil that they're sending to the United States has increased, which brings more revenue into Iraq. As long as it's being spent wisely, we should be happy about that. Now, as for us over here in America, this is not good because this is just higher gas prices. Again, this is another article on Sadr, fighting like heck. It appears, man, this guy is the good guy. He is fighting like heck to build a government that he wants. Sadr seems very set on his position. I don't think it's going to change unless something drastically happens to the man. Anyways, it says a statement quoted by Sadr saying the position represents the beginning to the end of corruption, subordination, and consociatialism to complete the formation of the national majority government. So we already know that they started targeting individuals and they're bringing them to justice. Some of them have already been indicted against the wishes of the coordination framework. So here's the other article that was kind of disappointing to read. It says right here, the finance minister, the importance of the white paper was embodied to restoring the balance of Iraq's economy. And I thought, oh, that's a good thing. Until you read the wording, you'll see right here. It says the statement explained that the form, which bore the slogan, transformation into a new era, the New World Order, aims to launch a dialogue with critical challenges facing the world, promote the exchange of ideas and policy making, and present viable recommendations. They're talking about having a world council where world leaders would talk amongst each other. In other words, a one world government. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. And people could bash it all they want, but you could see the writing everywhere now. I was just watching this news report on Italy, and they're having squabbles inside their parliament. And you can see the squabbles happening within Canada's parliament. This World Economic Forum is losing its grip. But is it too late? I mean, we got midterms coming up. We're going to find out just how bad everything is and if anything's going to be done. Again, the political parties are two sides of the same evil coin. They talk a good talk, but let's see what they're going to do once they get into office. What kind of laws are they going to pass to help the people, to help secure your rights and do away with all this corruption? It says right here, Alawi said during his speech at the forum, the goal of reaching a world free of crises, violations, and wars is not easy to achieve unless there are good intentions, international will, and equal dialogue to resolve differences and reduce conflicts, to silence the sound of war and the omens of destruction. So healthy recovery is no longer worrisome after suffering severely from the effects of the RONA. Does this wording sound good to you? It's not. The point being, it is more beneficial to this New World Order agenda for people to be suffering first. So as we keep an eye on whether or not a rate change is going to happen, that really, I believe, is going to depend a lot on the type of power that Sauder really has and anybody that's going to support him or those who sold out to this New World Order agenda. Because if that's the case, they're not going to switch this rate. They don't care how much the people are suffering. That's the goal, to make people suffer as much as possible so that they're so desperate that they're willing to accept the universal basic income that comes from the government, one that's made up of the central bank digital currency. So let's keep an eye on these people getting into power. So we need Sauder to get in here and put in the government that he wants. We need these midterms to come in and remove out the corruption that we got running in our country and hopefully get rid of these rhinos and something gets done quickly. We need the people up there in Canada to get rid of, 50% of your guys' cabinet, all members of Klaus Schwab's Youth Global Initiative. That is scary. But again, as a reminder, if you think I'm lying, pay attention.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
Us, a hackable human being that the elite, you heard him say, that the elite will control. They're not even hiding no more. They feel so confident in the grip that they have on the world and all the powers that they have, the wealth, the resources, and control of the governments, that they no longer need to hide it. But I'm looking at these articles, and as I pay attention to the words that are being used, I am concerned as a person who's invested into the dinar that these people that are in control, not Sauder's people, but especially Kurdistan, eagerly heading in that direction. We need to keep an eye on which politicians seem to be embracing this movement. Because if that's the case, they have no intentions on doing what it takes to increase anybody's wealth on any level for any reason whatsoever. So stop listening to people talk about how white hats are in control and there's clones and stuff, because it's a lie. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Sorry to be Mr. Debbie Downer. But as I was getting caught up in the news, I did see the wording, and as it kept going, I go, wow, I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's everywhere. I can't believe this. It's everywhere. Everybody talking about moving into a new era. Biden said a new world order. Trudeau said a new world order. Macron said a new world order. What's the difference between the truth and a conspiracy? About 60 days. Yeah, that's what's going around right now. Anyways, that's it for now. I mean, then it makes you question what the slap was on TV. Just more distractions. That's all it is. Did Will Smith actually go up there and do it? Sure, he did. But was it planned? Very possibly. We need more and more distractions because people are really starting to talk now, and they are talking about this movement, which is good. Anyways, that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.